The Finnish Army was forced to recruit men from the humblest origins to stand up against the Soviet Union in times of need. However, Simo Häyha was no ordinary farmer. Growing up in the woods, Häyha developed a knack for dealing with nature and learned hunting skills that far surpassed what he was taught during the short time he spent training with the Finnish military. Then, when the Soviets tried to seize Häyha's homeland, the clever self-made sniper was ready to put up a fight, so much so that he earned the nickname of the White Death. Countless enemies would fall by his hand, and Häyha would go down in history as one of the most lethal and humble snipers of all time. A matter of national security. 3 months after the outbreak of World War II, the Soviet Union trespassed the frontier with Finland, setting off an invasion known as the Winter War. The First Soviet-Finnish War officially started on November 30th, 1939, with the Soviets as a much superior force, both in tanks and aircraft. The Soviets had previously demanded Finland to cede a significant part of its territory, alleging security reasons. Leningrad was a crucial city that lay 20 miles from the border, and the Soviet Union expected it to provide enhanced protection against its enemies. However, Finland refused to capitulate, and the Soviets reacted violently. Several sources differ about the intentions of the Soviet Union and whether it strived to conquer the entire country and set up a puppet communist government, or if it only wanted to seize the established territory. Still, many battles ensued, with the main ones being Karelian Isthmus, Ladoga Karelia, and Kainuu. The Red Army suffered several losses and made little progress at first. When Joseph Stalin purged the Soviet army of military experts in the late 1930s, he unwittingly left his subordinates without proper leadership, and therefore vulnerable against small and defenseless countries. In addition to being terribly disorganized, Soviet soldiers were not provided with white camouflage uniforms, which didn't help in the Finnish winter, as their fragile figures were clearly identifiable against the snow. Finland managed to repel the Soviet advance and inflict substantial damage to the attackers for 2 months, while temperatures dropped to minus 45.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The Soviets had expected a full victory within weeks, just as they had done with East Poland shortly before, so they were taken completely off guard. They weren't counting on the courage of the soldiers from the Finnish People's Army, let alone the mastery of one particular sniper who was about to make history. The White Death. Born on December 17, 1905, Simo Häyha was the son of Juho and Katrina Häyha. The family lived in Kiskinen, Rautjärvi, in the then Finnish region of Karelia. Growing up, he enjoyed his family's farm life, would often ski, and became a skilled hunter before joining the military. Häyha spent much of his time in nature and hunting in the forests, thus acquiring several survival skills. When it came to hunting, he recognized early on that everything depended on the combination of the particular situation, the type of target, and more importantly, the terrain. Luckily, he had sharp vision and a natural talent to spot targets. The young man also learned another vital skill from his father, how to accurately estimate distances. While this particular ability was not natural, he developed it through practice. His precision was almost perfect, with a variation of merely a couple of steps. Likewise, he learned to measure the effects of wind and rain and the conditions of his surroundings. At 17, Häyha joined the voluntary militia Civil Guard. He then became known for his shooting skills and excellent marksmanship. However, he never enjoyed the spotlight and was a rather timid and solitary man, even as he grew up. But whether he liked it or not, his extraordinary abilities soon raised a lot of attention. 2 years later, Häyha began his compulsory military service with the Bicycle Battalion 2 in the Viipuri province. Simultaneously, he attended the non-commissioned officer school and served as a conscript officer in the Bicycle Battalion 1 in Terijoki. His sniper training in Uti wouldn't properly start until 1938, barely a year before the Soviets. Major Tapio Saarilainen, who interviewed Häyha several times and wrote 5 books about his story, noted that while still a trainee with the Civil Guard, the young man hit a target 16 times from a distance of 150 meters in merely 1 minute. The author stated, quote, "This was an unbelievable accomplishment." When the war broke out, Häyha participated in the Battle of Kola, where he celebrated his 34th birthday while on the battlefield. He was part of the 6th Company of Infantry, Regiment 34, under the command of Lieutenant Arno Juutilainen. Dressed in white attire, Häyha was invisible to the incomers. He even hit 25 men in one day and instantly rose to fame amongst the snipers. He then became known as the White Death. Up the sleeve. As Finnish newspapers kept talking about the invisible soldier, the taika ampuja, or magic shooter, Simo Häyha became a hero of mythical proportions. It's disputed whether the Red Army victims or Finnish propaganda efforts came up with the White Death nickname. However, both sides were very much aware of the sniper's reach. As usually happens with such a latent threat, Häyha was targeted. The Finnish hero once hit an enemy sniper with a single shot, to which the Soviets counterattacked with indirect fire. The invaders shot a mortar bombardment near his position, but Häyha emerged unscathed. Another time, an artillery shell almost hit him, but only brushed his greatcoat. Besides his extraordinary aim, Häyha knew precisely how to remain hidden and had a stockpile of tricks. To begin with, the sniper would pour water on the snow before him, so his position wouldn't be revealed with a muzzle blast. He would then take a mouthful of snow to hide his breath. Moreover, he'd cover his movements with sounds, smoke, or even artillery fire when changing positions, and also memorize the best hiding spots on the battlefield, as he didn't have a map. Häyha combined his natural talent with thorough preparation. During the night, he visited what he considered his favorite firing sites and improved them. Keenly devoted to his job, he would also clean his rifle more often than other soldiers, giving it maintenance before and after every mission. In such unbearable weather conditions, this helped avoid jamming. Perhaps his most notable mannerism was that he preferred his own old M2830 rifle over those equipped with telescopic sights. Despite it being a basic weapon, Häyha considered his model reliable and consistent. Plus, he knew it well and had mastered it throughout the years. The sniper adjusted its sights for 150 meters, a standard distance for the time, which allowed flexibility to rapidly switch settings. Saarelainen affirmed that Häyha was able to estimate distances with accuracy between 1 and 150 meters. Furthermore, the biographer maintained that Häyha would laugh when asked about a myth that snipers climb trees for better performance. The expert argued that on top of making it harder to keep steady and aim, it would render the sniper vulnerable if discovered, with no option to flee. Alternatively, Häyha sought cover behind overhanging branches, where he was better protected and had a steady aim. Still, the hero was notably unafraid on the front line, and said that he was just doing his job the way he approached hunting, always focused on ways to remain concealed while confusing the enemy. He also added that, quote, "War is not a pleasant experience, but who else would protect this land unless we are willing to do it ourselves?" Exploits. The war lasted 105 days, but Häyha would only serve 98. On March 6, 1940, he was hit by an explosive bullet in the face. According to his fellow soldiers, he was found after the battle unresponsive and placed on a pile of corpses. His commanding officer then sent someone to look for him, and the soldier noticed a twitching leg. Häyha was in a coma and didn't regain consciousness until a week later, when an armistice had already been signed. As part of the agreement, Finland had to cede a significant portion of its territory, though it remained sovereign. In contrast, the Soviet Union's reputation was smeared, and the Soviets were expelled from the League of Nations. What's more, Adolf Hitler was encouraged by the Red Army's lacking performance and believed an attack on the Soviet Union would be successful. As for the Finnish hero, he found out about his own demise in a newspaper and wrote them personally to correct the misunderstanding. It took him 14 months and 26 surgeries to recover from his grave injuries, for which he would not be allowed to serve again in the continuation war against the Soviets. Consequently, Häyha returned to his farm and always lived alone, until retiring in the Kimi Institute for Disabled Veterans in 2001. He passed away roughly a year later from natural causes at the age of 96. Simo Häyha is still regarded by most experts as the most successful sniper in history. In 98 days, he had at least 505 confirmed hits, and when asked in 1998 about how he had become such a good sniper, he merely replied, quote, "Practice." Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to all our Dark Documentaries channels and leave us a comment below. Also, stay tuned for more epic stories.